But whatever it is that I'm doing tomorrow and next week, and whatever it is you're doing tomorrow and next week, let's forge something extraordinary together. Today, I announce the winner of the Consultant Cadre naming competition for our Content Talk. Let's see how innovation meets artistry as we forge something extraordinary together.
You are listening to The Innovation Forge, the #1 podcast on adaptive enrollment management, exploring the data, marketing, and strategy that fuels higher education. Here's your host, David Dysart.
Today, I announce the winner of the Consultant Cadre naming competition for our Content Talk. But first, the Forge Codex. So let's forge something extraordinary together. The Innovation Forge Codex. This is a field guide to the hidden crafts of adaptive enrollment management. Behind every seamless application portal, every finely tuned model, and every yield curve lies a world unseen. A forge where artisans shape strategy from raw data, creativity from constraints, and insight from complexity. In this companion to the Innovation Forge book and podcast, the Codex opens the door to the deeper lore, the secret disciplines, the lost crafts, and the unsung professionals that power adaptive enrollment management. From the delicate weaving of the slate write, to the ethereal calculations of the datamancer, to the ecospherical charts of the attritiononomist, this illuminates the artistry beneath the algorithms. For practitioners, dreamers, and slate writes alike, the Innovation Forge Codex invites you to step beyond configuration and into the world of craft, where enrollment is not simply managed, it's forged. And join us for semester 2 of the Innovation Forge podcast with guests like Christina Calpe, audiobook chapters like, I guess this is a bit of an announcement that is late as I read off the script. I'm actually not doing the audiobook chapters this semester. I am doing the Fieldsmith Register and the Fieldsmith Trials or it's the Forgesmith Trials? Fieldsmith Trials. Oh my goodness. I might have used Fieldsmith twice there. And the Forge Bellows. And the Workbench walkthroughs. I'm doing a lot of new stuff in semester 2. But the creation of the Innovation Forge Codex was actually pretty accidental. I was brainstorming ideas for Coffee and Coals episodes, and as you know, this is where I pull back the curtain, much like I'm doing now. And one topic I wanted to do was the use of words in my work. I have a lot of acronyms, but I also have a lot of words that I just randomly use in my hashtags like SlateWrite. Oh, I already did. Yeah, no. SlateWrite, Metallurgy, Lumbar, Support Jack. And I do a lot of brainstorming and proofreading in ChatGPT, so I asked it what other new words I used, and then what are some other words that are kind of like this. And I settled on SlateWrite, Metallurgy, Querysmith, Datamancer, Metricurgy, and Attritiononomy. But ChatGPT also asked me, would you like these illustrated in a fake field guide to the Forge? Or built into a glossary lore book page for your audience or website? I can even create posters and visually styled like a medieval blacksmith manual. And I just really like the idea of it. So with some back and forth and then some more back and forth, and I think with one last back and maybe another fourth, I don't know, who can remember, I settled on these 6 professions or sciences and made this little guide called the Innovation Forge Codex. While doing it though, I also really liked the idea of using this as a semester 2 replacement for, in like semester 1, I made the collectible trading cards of my guests. I also did trading cards for the Slate team, also known as the Enrollment Aces. This is the Slate Captain, the Slate Wizard, the Wild Card, the Coach, all of these other team members. And I had also planned on updating the video thumbnail design for interviews and audiobook chapters. I was never really thrilled with those, but if I only had to put a few episodes out with each thumbnail style, they were good enough. And I also just like changing things. I had also planned on updating the video thumbnail design for the... So this new Codex project could also serve all of those purposes as well. Guests would get their entry into the Codex. I could explain the fields like metallurgy and datamancy, like I did for the Slate team, and then I could also restyle the thumbnails in this hand-drawn on parchment style. And the reveal for this new Semester 2 revamp could be a Foundry footage episode. These smaller episodes are heavily visual. Videos like the old-timey A Slate Miss Carol, the Slate team anime characters, the failed by design battle between me and a tree that I'm still not entirely sure if I won that battle. And to be honest, it's still going on. So I'm definitely not winning it at the moment. I also have a couple in the pipeline at varying stages. It's a 70s heist movie short and a piece that goes more into the process of creation that I'm really excited about. And even an everyday artisan with those new Codex Practitioners. But while those are short, they tend to be incredibly time-consuming. So those don't have a release date and aren't even on the roadmap at the moment. The Innovation Forge Codex video was a bit streamlined on the video side, but it still featured the lore, so I included it in the Foundry footage series. So it's just a fun new project that I can create content around, and I can also explore the concepts and principles and even the skills. Not to mention, it's just another plate of spaghetti that I can throw against the wall to see if anything sticks or resonates with the community. So let me know what you're liking and not liking about the Innovation Forge podcast. Around the content, the delivery, the branding. Do you want to learn more about Slate tools, marketing, strategy, or more interviews, more screen sharing content? Semester 2 is introducing the Forge Bellows newsletter and more visual learning with the Workbench walkthroughs, and probably a Semester 3 thing is the ForgeWorks Grimoire. That is on the spectrum of time consuming, that is definitely breaking the scale in ways hitherto unknown. But yeah, that really is expanding the configurable joins and feature engineering into a year-long narrative journey, following fictional students and staff through an accelerated recruitment cycle, building personas, using Voyager and Deliver and reports to better understand, recruit, and yield students. Really excited for all of that, but as you can guess, that will take some time to both plan, record, and release. And as the Innovation Forge continues to find its voice, let me know what's resonating with you. Did you like the geekier side of Semester 1's visuals with the anime, comic books, and trading card aesthetics? Or maybe enjoying me double down on the medieval blacksmith and craftsman approach? Semester 3 is already in the works, and that is a bit of a middle point possibly. Or I could decide in the next month to completely put my thumb on one side of those scales. But thank you for joining me down that rabbit hole. But changing directions entirely, it's time to learn more about our content talk. Before I announce the winner of the naming contest, let's find out what his story is. The Legend of Seymour segment. The content talk. Not every Slate Wright was born to build portals or craft complicated queries. Some were called to a different forge. The Forge of Story. Long ago, when early enrollment offices first ventured into digital recruitment, they faced a terrible plague. Bland content, boring emails, generic pages, brochures that might as well have been blank. The problem wasn't data, it was connection, or really the lack thereof. From high above the recruitment planes, a sharp-eyed bird watched. With feathers speckled like parchment, a brush and palette clutched in their talons, they saw opportunity where others saw templates. His name was Seymour Segment. While others measured yield curves, Seymour soared through landing pages and deliver campaigns, masterfully blending storytelling with segmentation. He understood that an email, it's not just a message, it's a moment. That a portal wasn't just a link, it was a landing. He discovered the power of content blocks, that marvelous Slate tool that let one message become many, personalized for major, territory, action, or even funnel stage. With every student click, he painted richer data portraits. With every conditional statement, he splashed the canvas with relevance. As he refined his craft, Slate writes across the land would summon him. Seymour, the open house email needs more color. Seymour, can you split the audience by first-gen status and also make it just pop? And with a few graceful keystrokes, a little personalization here, a smart liquid markup there, Seymour would make the message sing. In time, he earned his title, the Content Hawk, Architect of Engagement, Artisan of Audience, Hawk-eyed Steward of Segmentation. When a Slate instance feels cold or impersonal, some say you can still hear Palett's wing beats, gently guiding content creators towards more vibrant, human-centered messaging. And his personal motto? Every student is the audience of one. And that is Seymour segmentation. I feel like I probably should have prepared some kind of fun, not Treehouse of Terror, that's The Simpsons. I was just thinking about this when I was reading. The Feed Me Seymour, Audrey 2. How am I blanking on this? I just saw the show not that long ago. Seymour, Audrey. Okay, Little Shop of Horrors. There we go. I feel like I probably should have worked in a reference to Little Shop of Horrors, but I didn't. So here we are in a double-layered peek behind the scenes. But I also wanted to take a minute as we close up our journey today for some honorable mentions. Not honorary. Some honorable honoraries. So the first is Pallet Quillbeak Inkwind. That's Pallet Quillbeak Inkwind, 25th of his name. Peregrine Scribe Plume. Yeah, I can't actually say Peregrine Scribe Plume, so that wasn't going to be an option. Beaky McDeliver. That's great. That's a fun one. And then Pallet Beekman. As we part for today, I want us to think about our tomorrows. As I don't have a script for this, and I just think off the top of my head. And thinking about next week's episode of, is it the Forge Bellows? Or is it the Fieldsmith Registry? I don't know. But whatever it is that I'm doing tomorrow and next week, and whatever it is you're doing tomorrow and next week, let's forge something extraordinary together. For those watching the video, or willing just to see our next mascot, I need a name for our segment, The Consultant Cadre. Send me an email at theinnovationforgepodcast@gmail.com, or find me on the socials like LinkedIn and Instagram to comment your suggestion. As always, I'll send the ebook of The Innovation Forge to all winning name submitters. If you enjoyed today's episode, please grow the guild by rating and reviewing the Innovation Forge podcast, or sharing it with a colleague who needs to hear about these creative crossovers in education. The best review or comment every month will get an ebook of my book, of course. Particularly great ones will also be featured on future episodes. Thank you so much for joining me in the workshop today. Remember to strike true, and let's forge something extraordinary together. Remember to strike true as we forge something extraordinary together. Welcome to the Innovation Forge. I didn't mean to go deeper, but after what happened in that lattice work of Slate and that modular thing beneath the admin shell, I couldn't stop wondering, if those two, if they're not just tools, then what are they? So I went hunting. I pulled up a list of CRMs with newer architecture, ones that didn't come from the old build. That's when I found it. Element 451. Well, the documentation was unusually eager, like it wanted to be read. Personalization tags danced before I typed. Predictive modules arranged themselves around me. The platform wasn't responding. It was curating. I traced IP logs, found a pattern, daily engagement spikes that didn't correlate with any traffic sources, bursts of behavior before any outbound messaging. I thought it was a glitch, but it wasn't. I isolated one student record, then another, then 50. Each showed activity before the contact, the Ember. Wait, Why did I call it that? Yes, I mean, that's what it feels like now. It doesn't wait for behavior. It generates it. Late last night, I opened a contact record that shouldn't exist. My own name? Profile complete. It had already tagged me, segmented me, drafted a message. The subject line read, "Still curious, David?" I heard a sound behind me, like a whispered, made of spark. I don't think I'm tracking it. I think it's tracking me. Element 451, the Ascendant Thought Ember. The ember is already in your head. You just haven't opened the message yet.